There we go. Always got to be doing stuff when I'm trying to record.
What is happening over there?
Seriously. I told you I'm recording.
Yeah, and I have to put dinner away.
Anyways, we're recording.
Okay.
Buenas tardes.
Hola, how are you?
I'm alright. How are you?
I'm okay. I stayed home today because I have a head cold. And I was a giant pussy.
Uh-huh.
And I basically, there's a significant amount of production out of my right ear.
Wait,
And
production?
Yeah, there's extra coming out my right ear. So I don't know if
Like
that's,
substance?
I don't know what's happening. A little bit, yeah.
Ah,
And then I can only breathe out of the right side of my nose.
okay.
And
Right ear, right nose. Could be
right ear,
signs
right
of a
nose.
stroke.
Is my face drooping?
Sure.
I just always look like this. So,
Yeah.
tonight I just hurt. You know, like the
Oh,
body
yeah.
aches and pains.
God, that sucks. Especially when you don't know what it is. You know, it's probably just a head cold, right? The weather's been shit. And
Yeah, it snowed like 3 inches at my house today in about an hour.
not here. Yeah, not here. It would snow, but there was, it's just wet. But
Yeah.
I see you have a guest with you today.
Yeah, you're looking at the back of Matska's head.
Matska.
Matska.
Kitty kitty.
She has enjoyed my time home today, and so apparently it is not leaving the nap space of the bedroom. Yeah. It's gonna join us here. So I hope you like looking at the back of her head.
It's entertaining for me, at least.
Oh, good.
Hopefully for you. Maybe she'll sit on your lap. I don't know.
My guess is that someone will be jealous and join us. Someone else will join us soon.
Ah, perfect. Yeah, I have two lazy cats. I don't know where they're at, but one was meowing at the door just a few minutes ago. It wanted outside, but he didn't realize how cold it is. Jesus.
It is cold.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I invited our brother to join us tonight.
Oh.
And because I thought, you don't have anything happening. Why don't you just come chat with us?
You're just at our mother's house. What are you watching? Murder, She Wrote?
Dancing with the Stars? Come on, man.
Ugh. Yuck.
Yes. No wonder he's suicidal sometimes. But he says, I said, are you doing anything tonight? Nothing in particular. I said, Tracey and I are going to record. Do you want to be on? No, thanks. I'm good. And I said, we talk about idiot stuff. His response, I just don't have I just don't have the charisma for broadcasting.
Yeah, neither do we.
That's why they allow any idiot with a podcast to be online.
What a lame ass excuse. Did you tell him that?
No, I just told him that one of these days we'll have a topic. But I was thinking about the word charisma, which he used in a sentence.
Well, I think I haven't. Than us.
He is. I don't think I've said that word out loud since like a 6th grade spelling bee.
I don't even know how to spell it. Is it a K? Is it a C?
CH.
Nah.
Anyway, broadcasting. Yeah. We'll get it. I'll work on him. I'll wear him down.
Charisma for broadcasting. Yuck. Yeah, you're gonna have to work on that. Nope.
He has the charisma. He has the charisma to sing in front of thousands of people in foreign countries. Mm-hmm. But he doesn't have the charisma to talk with us on the interwebs.
Yeah, for a whole 2 people to listen.
Yeah.
Our parents.
Come on, man.
Yeah. I mean, the only people that watch it or listen are our parents.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did anybody email us?
Uh, it's funny that you bring that up. Yes, we actually did receive emails. After we asked our listeners to go ahead and reach out to us at Stephanie and Tracey at gmail.com. Our mother emailed us.
Speaking of
God.
parents,
Yeah, and I wish I was more prepared. I would have had that email brought up for the show. But the gist of it was, you guys think you're fucking funny, and I love you, Mom. That was it. That was
so
it.
basically, she read back the title of our program.
She read back the title, and then she just said the same thing she's been telling us for the last 30 years. Is you guys just think you're fucking funny. That's one thing that we haven't talked about at all, is why did we call it My Mom Says We're Funny? And it's not because it's like this family, Disney thing, like, oh, you guys are so funny, right? And no, it's because our mother, always was one to instill confidence in us. And anytime we ever said anything, it was like, you two just think you're a couple of fucking comedians.
And then she occasionally would laugh.
Occasionally would laugh, but most of the time it was very mean. Like, you two just think you're a couple of fucking comedians. And then she would start sweeping the floor again, right? How that floor has not been ground down to the baseboard or to the subfloor, whatever the fuck you call it. I don't know. But I called her on Mother's Day, and I left her a voicemail, and because she didn't pick up, and I said, "Well, you're probably vacuuming or sweeping the floor right now. I just want to call you and wish you a happy Mother's Day." This woman calls back and says, "Well, as a matter of fact, I was sweeping when you called, and we just got back into town." And she was like snipping at me because we have her pegged, right? Like, we know exactly what she's doing. She's either vacuuming. Well, most of the time it's sweeping. And you would think a woman that sweeps and vacuums that much has a very clean, spotless house. That's not the case. That is not true. It smells like cats. And it reeks of 1980s decor.
I was particularly fond of the very dead, very fire hazardous Christmas wreath hanging by the back door 2 weeks ago. That was my favorite part.
And what's the date today?
Today is Monday, May 9th.
Yes, it is. Yes, our mother has a Christmas wreath still up. In fact, she has many Christmas decorations still up.
Absolutely. I mean, like, woman, I'm going to be back there this weekend.
Yeah. And so the woman's batshit crazy, and what people don't know is she is Genevieve Jr., and Genevieve,
who is our lovely grandmother.
Yes, our dear grandmother. Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
Yeah, Genevieve, who died, I think, like 4 or 5 times before she actually died. Because I'll be damned if she was going to die on her, it was all on her terms, right? Like, and so our Genevieve grandmother, batshit crazy. Our mother, carbon copy, batshit crazy. And I'm sorry to say, your father has called you out on this before. You have some Genevieve tendencies as well. I'm just going to throw that out there.
He tells me that every single time he sees me. It's just the way it is. And
you know what pisses me off about this whole thing is I catch myself, and we've talked about this. I've caught myself saying the same shit that our mother says.
Especially when you're mad at. Yes, I was going to say, especially when you're mad at your kids.
Yeah, exactly. Because you don't know what else to say, because that's exactly what you were taught the entire time, was to say these stupid things that don't mean anything. And usually you're yelling because
yes,
that's the only way you could get the point across.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have a really nice photograph of Genevieve, and because really you can't understand the Genevieve unless you see the Genevieve.
Here,
because.
Okay. Yeah, I think you.
Do you have the photo?
No, I'm still looking. Share. I just want to make sure.
I'm still looking for it. I don't know where it's at. I thought it was on this machine.
So to bring everybody up to speed who's not watching the visual element to this, which is available on YouTube, My Mom Says We're Funny podcast on YouTube. just a quick plug there because I have no shame, right?
Well,
And
who was it that you plugged our podcast with recently that we didn't know?
oh, wait, a platform or a person?
A person.
Oh, a person, a sales guy, right? So I work in IT, right? And I get sales calls daily from, this, that, and the other IT related service. And I'm just,
Mhm.
I'm kind of at the point in my career where I really don't, I mean, I care what happens, but I know what I'm doing, right? I don't need sales pitches to tell me what I need in my organization. And so I don't know this guy from Adam. I don't know where he's from. I just know that he's a salesman for one of the big IT things, and he's like, we got on the subject of audio, and I'm like, yeah, we do a little recording. It's not really professional. In fact, it's not professional at all. But we got a little podcast going, and
Yeah.
so I shamelessly plugged my podcast to an unknown individual. But he was a great guy to talk to, anyways. He said he would check it out, but I've been watching the numbers. I don't think he checked it out.
That's too bad.
But back to Genevieve, so everybody's tracking while you're looking for that photo. Genevieve, there was a photo that popped up of the Queen herself. What is she? The Queen of England, right? God save the Queen. She's like 100, right? And
Uh-huh.
she's somehow still alive. She had COVID, right?
Yeah.
She's been through a lot of things in life. World War One, World War Two, the Great Depression, right? Like she's seen a lot, right, in her lifetime. And our grandmother Genevieve looks just like the Queen.
Yeah, I'm having a
Splitting
hard time.
image.
Having a hard time finding that photo. I'll make sure that she's available on subsequent ones. But yeah, I mean, just picture the Queen of England in
Yep.
her polyester matching
Yes.
outfits. Grandma wasn't a skirt lady,
No.
so remove
Pants.
the
A
skirt.
lot of polyester pants.
Yeah, polyester pants. So remove the colored, Easter egg colored skirts and put that same color of pants on a woman with the same curly gray hair and the glasses,
Right.
and
Yep.
that's what we're related to.
Exactly, with the pink lipstick and always just chewing Trident cinnamon gum. So I honestly think, after we saw that last photo of the Queen, I honestly think that our grandmother faked her own death to get away from the family because she didn't want us clinging on to any kind of royalty or anything like that. And
Mhm.
obviously, with Randy Andy and Prince Harry and his bullshit, that she needed to get back to the castle and tend to some royal business. And how do you get out of Baker County, Oregon? Well, you fake your own death, and then you make your way overseas, and now you're back into the castle, running it as the Queen, and then fake COVID and all that kind of shit, just so the family doesn't ask questions.
Yeah, I mean, the fewer pictures, the better, really, at this point.
Yeah, I mean, really. So that's Grandma. That's Genevieve. And so our mother is an exact carbon copy now that our mother is approaching that age where she should be the Queen of England, but our grandmother hasn't passed away yet. So, I mean.
But with our mother, you have to remove the polyester pants.
Yeah.
You have to put yoga pants on it.
Ugh.
But they're not like tight legged yoga pants. They're like
They're old
Well,
lady
lot-
yoga pants.
they're boot cut yoga pants.
They're old ladies that realize that they shouldn't wear the young ladies' tight yoga pants, and so they go with the looser material just to show that, okay, you are indeed in your 60s.
Yes, and then
Yeah.
just add purple here and there.
A lot of,
And-
and some turquoise jewelry, and, throw some Hail Marys out there from the Catholic Church. And that's our mother. And QVC, a lot of QVC.
I don't know. I don't know who she buys from anymore. It used to be a whole lot of QVC.
Home Shopping
but-
Network.
So now we're more into like doTERRA oils.
Oh, Yeah, witchcraft.
Witchcraft.
Yeah.
Oils and I think like the fitness drink mix thingies is gone now. I don't
Oh
think that's
yeah,
much of a
that's right.
thing. Remember that?
Oh yeah, yeah, where she was mixing that hair, nails, and skin garbage into her coffee or whatever. A lot of butter coffee. She was on that butter coffee thing for a while, and
I don't think that's
every
a thing.
yeah, when she was in that, every single coffee cup was coated in butter, whether it was clean or dirty. It was always, it was like your fingers were constantly in a microwave popcorn bag. Like what? Why do you need so much butter in your diet? That's like some 1950s shit. That rolls over from the queen herself, Genevieve, right? Like, what's a the best thing that you can introduce into your diet when you're in your 50s? Oh, I know, butter, so I can have hot buttery farts all night when I'm in bed, right? And just pull up the covers. Poor Bob. He's probably smelled some fucking scorchers, right? She's a long, hard day on her feet in the hospital, and she's had a lot of butter coffee. She crawls into bed, and then you just hear, or if there's any sound at all, it's just those hot buttery farts. And poor Bob's in there trying to beat cancer, right? And the fucking cancer cells get a whiff of that, and they're like, "Hey, we're taking off. Here it is, boys." Jesus Christ!
you
I don't
you
know.
had me at you had me at hot buttered farts.
You're welcome. Yeah, like who has a diet like that anymore?
I yeah. I mean, why stop at butter? Why not just a old slap a chunk of lard in there? I mean, isn't that the
Exactly.
same shit?
Yeah,
I don't know.
fucking throw it in the blender with your coffee. Yeah, it'd get anybody going. You know what's funny too is last episode I talked about how bad my gut is. Well, it
Hmm.
stems from our mother,
Oh
right?
yeah.
She has that gut that she so graciously passed down to myself, and so the coffee itself is a diuretic, right? Coffee, just saying coffee right now has my gut like a little like twisted a little bit, like oh,
Hmm.
oh coffee, time to shit. So knowing that I have it, she's got it, and then she puts a pound of butter in every cup. I don't know how she doesn't stay off the toilet. I
Well,
mean, at this,
it seems like your odoring would be so lubed up that it would just come right out.
you couldn't hold it back. The pressure would build, and it would be like fucking the geyser, right? At Yellowstone Park,
Old
Old
Faithful.
Faithful, every
Hmm.
time, just a fucking stream of diarrhea shooting up, right, and spackling the back of the porcelain every hour on the hour. You could set your watch by it because what did you have for breakfast, Mother? Oh, coffee and butter. That was a good choice. That was a good choice.
Followed up with a hearty helping of red meat at the end of the day. And
Yeah, some good red meat, lots of cheeses, different styles of cheeses, variety pack of cheeses.
make
Oh,
sure you bring home your container of hospital cafeteria broccoli for later, though, because that's really going to fix it all.
good God. Yeah. Well, it's the new fad. It's the new diet. I'm losing weight. No, you're not. You're shitting yourself to death. That's the only reason why you're losing weight. God. Oh, our
Uh,
mother.
So I don't think that that's a thing anymore. I haven't witnessed that. I drank coffee in her house
Mm-hmm.
recently, and
Yeah, and how was that?
I it was not buttery.
Oh,
There was not
surprising.
an oily residue in the cups that I was using.
Yeah, expired
Unless
half and half.
Yeah, she did open up because she still buys the carton. Where you gotta like pull it apart and then to like massage
Yeah,
it
yeah, the
out.
grade school style of
Uh-huh.
milk cartons, but like
Yeah,
double the size,
yeah.
triple
So
the
she
size.
so, so she opens that thing up, and this is how you know that she has a problem. She fucking smells it,
Ugh.
and she goes, oh, not that one, and then puts it back in the
Oh,
fridge.
well, because one of these days she's going to need extra half and half for her coffee, And if you don't have fresh half and half, the second best thing is expired half and half that stinks like ass, right? And then you put a little bit in there, you see it curdle, right? Because it's already rotten, and you give it a little swirl with your spoon and down the gullet.
I will say that the refrigerator situation in that house, no thanks to our mother, but all thanks to Bob, is far better than it used to be. However, when I was there, not only did she put the rotten half and half back in the refrigerator,
of course,
because because save it, can't throw it away. There was no joke. Like, okay, so Starbucks has a big ass cup called, I think it's the Venti size, right?
You mean a large? Let's forget that there's fucking 3 sizes in Spanish, whatever it is. Yes. It's a large.
There's a large Starbucks. There's a large, clear, see-through, cold Starbucks cup in the refrigerator with this much fucking coffee in the bottom of it. I'm holding up an inch of space in my finger. So we've got this cup that is 14 and a half inches tall with 1 inch of fucking coffee in the bottom of it, and that is in
What are you going to do with that? What are you going to do with that?
Well, I think my question to the public in that particular home was, why in the fuck is there an inch of coffee in this Starbucks cup in the fridge? And Bob just pointed at her.
Because he knows. He's been beaten down. Yeah. Yeah, he's been yelled at. He's had the broom flicked at him before.
He's had the sand shot at his calves.
Yeah, I tell you what, Mother should have played hockey because that slap shot with that broom is fucking incredible. Yeah, if you've ever been on the beach and the wind's blowing at about 90 miles an hour and you feel the sand hit your shins, that's what it's like to stand in the room with our mother when she's sweeping. Just it's, you could put a piece of metal down there with paint on it, and by the time she's done flicking sand at it, it'll be completely clean of paint. All the paint's been sandblasted off. That's our mother.
It's almost like a PTSD response now when I go to the beach and the wind's hitting me with the sand. I'm like,
Mommy, no.
Get the brooms away from me, Mom. No, I love you, Mommy.
Yeah, Mommy dearest. Don't hit me with the broom again. Oh, she's going to listen to this and hate us.
We're going to get another strongly worded email.
Yeah, exactly. She's going to contact the Better Business Bureau with a strongly worded letter on why they should not support our podcast anymore. All these platforms should be shut down. They should be ashamed of themselves. Thanks to Genevieve Jr.
Genevieve Jr. You know what I like to do when I go to her house?
What's that?
I like to take a random fork out of the drawer and just set it on the counter.
That's not the first time you've said that. And I think it's fucking hilarious. And it's so simple. I would have never guessed that is the thing that irritates her because, okay, let's paint the picture for the people out listening right now, right? So the kitchen counter, do you remember when Subway was really into their yellow theme? Everything, like all the tables were that bright ass banana yellow.
Yep.
That's our mother's countertop, right? 1980s decor, like I said, right? With the really shitty linoleum that has pieces ripped off from just years of sweeping. And there is shit all over the counters. There's wine bottles, not empty wine bottles that are going to sit there forever, right? That you and I will have to divvy up one of these days when we have to clean that shithole out, right? There's papers and magazines and pens and materials. Oils.
Little bottles of oils.
Little vials of oils for her witchcraft everywhere. Someone who works in modern medicine really likes to really push the witchcraft oils for any of your ailments. And so you wouldn't think that something simple like a fork would throw her game off.
It does. You just take out a fork and you set it on the counter and you walk away. And you don't even have to use it. It doesn't have to be a thing. Like, you just set it there and you walk away. And then at some point, when she comes back in there, and she'll have to think. I think she goes in and she thinks about the fork for a while because it's not an immediate response when she gets in there. so because she's in there and she's futzing, and then all of a sudden she's like, "What is this fork doing here?" And my immediate response is, "I don't know." And then
yeah, you must have put it there.
I don't know. So it is 100% me every single time. Is the story of that.
So now that she's used to you putting the fork down, I'm gonna have to start putting the fork down. Then she's really gonna get confused.
She will.
And the only rationale I can put behind this is when it comes to inventorying all of the garbage in her house. She's kind of like Rain Man, right? Where she's not particularly good with numbers, but she could tell you every single item in her house and where it is in the house. It's like inventorying like a Walmart distribution center that has no organization whatsoever, right? The trucks backed up to the distribution center. The trucks were just full of random goods, and then the guy that was pissed off, disgruntled, just started chucking shit into the house, right? And it's all boxed up. It's all nice stuff, I think.
Well, yeah, it's still boxed up because she ordered it from somewhere and hasn't opened it yet.
Yeah, exactly. It's like Christmas, really, when you go over
it
there
is.
Every day, because you have no idea what's in each box.
And funny you bring up Christmas. Christmas is the time where many of those get opened because she's trying to figure out where your Christmas presents are. But there's too many boxes with shipping labels on them that have been unopened. And so Christmas is like Christmas for her too, because she has no idea what in the world is in any of those boxes.
Oh my God. Yeah. It's just ridiculous.
But so when I was home 2 weeks ago, there was a change. There was a change. A Bob initiated change. Okay. So we've got our Subway colored bar that's covered in stuff. Right. And the thing that side story. Did you know that there's a cat channel through that bar now?
A cat channel? Like what do you mean a cat channel?
There is they have left an open space for the cats to walk.
And this is something that was placed on purpose?
Yes, because Kevin the cat would try to hop over everything because he's enormous, but he's stupid, and so shit would get knocked over. Correct. So now there is a trail through the shit on the countertop, so the cats have some place to run.
Christ. I don't fucking get it. I don't get it.
I want to put a hurdle in there just to, just for fun. Like, might as well train him to do something cool if we're going to do
cattle prods, something. I don't know. How do you, I don't know.
Booby trap it? I don't know. Something.
Yeah.
So anyway, so just so you know, there's a cat trail there.
Correct.
So there is the yellow Subway bar that is between the kitchen and the dining room. And then there's the large dining room table where I still get gifted the opportunity to sit in the broke ass 1970s vinyl chair that came out of like a A&W restaurant. Do you know which one, where like the seat swivels?
Not by design, but it after years of should have been thrown away, it's still in the house and now it swivels.
Correct. Yes. So anyway, there's the bar that's between the kitchen and the dining room with the cat trail through it. And then there's kind of that large walkway that kind of goes through all this area where there's like the rolling desk and the table.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And the table had all the mail and the catalogs and shit on it. The table is gone.
Did it collapse from the weight? Why did it leave the house?
I couldn't find any scorch marks on the wall, so I don't think a small fire was started. I think Bob just got irritated. And I did not engage in a significant conversation about this, but like a year ago, Bob bought this tall, it's like 5 feet tall, little thing of drawers. And so it's tall and narrow, and it's got probably a dozen drawers in it. And Bob was like, this looks like a good thing to put little jars of oils in. Oh, like Jesus. Trying to help contain some stuff, you know what I mean? Yeah. And it sat there for about a year empty because it's our mother.
Right.
So apparently Bob loaded that bad boy up, and there's a cabinet of voodoo in there, and that table is gone. I don't even know where it's at. And there's like a little, like piece of furniture, like a dresser type of a little piece of furniture there that has a couple drawers in it, and that like it's just not it's not full of mail. I don't know what happened to all of it.
I really hope, for Bob's sake, that he didn't decide to just throw shit away, because he would get the wrath that you and I got when we would throw shit away, right? It would be weeks of just nagging of, where is this? Why did it get thrown away? It was a good piece of material.
And to your previous point of she doesn't know what's there, but she knows it's there.
Mm-hmm.
If you threw away a cluster of things, anytime she'd come up with something missing, you had to have thrown it away.
It was your fault.
It was your fault.
You did this. Yes.
It may have not even been there. It could just be lost.
It may have been never in the house, period. It was just something that she thought she had.
Right. But it's your fault because you threw some shit away.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
So, but anyway,
no,
Bob got rid of that table. Bob got rid of that table.
Good for Bob. Yeah. Trying to clean up the house that is her mother's. And
yeah,
this is a pretty good sized house too, right? I mean, what is it?
Isn't it like
4-bedroom,
2,000?
2-bath? Yeah, it's a couple thousand square feet. 2 people live there, right?
Yeah, I don't know if I'd call it 2-bath anymore. Not gonna just
yeah. Well, you know, by design it was a 2-bathroom functioning.
There's one room
that
looks right. There's one room that looks like it possibly could have been a bathroom at one point.
Right, but all the fixtures are inoperable, correct?
I think the sink still works. I know the toilet does not, and I just absolutely don't go in that shower.
Yeah. Well, that's a whole nother conversation.
It is, yeah. So, yeah. If
Oh,
she does not have good plumbing. So if you like cheese, it is not a good place to go.
Well, and that goes back to the conversation that we started with the liquid buttery farts. You got to have good plumbing for that. You got to be prepared. You can't just go into that and not have 2 working toilets, because you're going to destroy one for sure.
All the time.
All the time. And then what is everybody else going to use? So if you destroy one and you only have 1 functioning toilet, that means the toilet you're destroying, everybody else has to put their ass cheeks on and wonder what in the hell happened in here.
I do not have an issue with going to the bathroom in public restrooms. I don't even have an issue going to the bathroom in outhouses. I do not like going in and you being the next person after that toilet seat's been warmed for that long.
Yeah, and it does stay warm pretty much throughout the day, and it's an old toilet, right? So okay, so when you flush that toilet and you see that water level rising, do you lift your butt up and go, here we go, we're flooding the place, because you don't know if anything's going down or not. You don't know what's down that pipe that's blocking everything.
I used to do that because it was far worse. I don't know what they've done differently. I don't know if maybe just her butter farts have rotted out whatever was in there, plugging everything up before. But
good chance for that.
But I remember when we lived there was a great deal, like, you just never, I mean, as you get older, you don't trust a fart. You didn't trust a flush in that house.
Never, ever.
Because just because it went down for the person in front of you doesn't mean it was going to stay down for you.
No, sir. Yeah.
It was a rough time.
Rough time. Yeah. Mother.
I will say that I'm glad that the baby blue toilet seat's gone.
I wonder what happened to that. It's probably in the house somewhere. You just haven't found it yet.
It's probably in the coat closet. I'm gonna
the coat closet. Or like every good piece of material that starts out in the house is now in the shed.
It can't go in the shed because that Bob has claimed 2/3 of it, or Bob has claimed 1/3 of it, and the rest of it's full of rabbits. So but I have not recently opened the pump house door, so I don't know what that is happening in there.
Yeah, I don't know.
So,
Hopefully it went to the landfill, but you never know.
or it could be in Bob's storage unit. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because that Bob's got his
Well,
little hoardy spot too in the storage unit.
yeah. Anyways,
Yeah.
so that's why we named the podcast the What We Did. My mom says we're funny
How many
because
minutes did it take
that's
to us to explain that?
probably far too long. I wasn't even keeping track of time, to be quite honest with you. It's probably half the show right there, talking about her mother and her butter farts.
So,
Um,
speaking of mother,
yeah.
are there things in your life? Because I was
Uh,
thinking about this yesterday.
o-
Are there
okay.
things in your life that you do that you were absolutely not able to do growing up in mother's house, or things that you do differently?
Oh gosh. Um, that's a damn good question. I wasn't prepared for that one. Do you have an example?
I
And I
do. I
could.
do.
Okay. Okay.
Um, do you, so. This is how I'm gonna throw this out to you.
Okay.
What, when you were in the kitchen, what were you allowed to clean the countertops with?
Oh shoot. Probably in my tenure, it was probably something like some sort of organic cleaner or like Fabuloso or something to that effect. You
So
can never
what
use
about
bleach.
what about the scrubber piece itself? What did you use to mop up with?
Usually the same sponge that's been at the sink for the last 10 to 15 years. The same sponge that you wiped the floor with, the same sponge that you wiped countertops with, the same sponge that you washed the dishes with. Because even though there was a space for the dishwasher, there's just a space there for it. There is no dishwasher, so you had to hand wash everything. Yeah, it was always a sponge, a dirty
Yes.
sponge.
Fuck that. Do you remember? Did you ever wipe the countertop with a towel, with a hand towel?
Not, I would never admit to it, but yes, probably.
That
Be-
is all I wipe my countertops with now. Like I
okay.
just, I
Mm,
cannot use my dish sponge to clean anything else.
I don't. You know what? It's funny you bring that up because I don't even like having a sponge in the house. Right? A sponge serves its purpose, right? You like. Okay, I'll take that statement back real quick. A sponge is good to wipe up toilets,
Mm-hmm.
but
And I have one underneath the bathroom sink for that.
you don't use the universal house sponge to clean everything. Like mother insisted that we use a sponge, and it was always either a blue or a yellow sponge, and they're so soaked with dye. Do you remember that? They're so soaked with the dye to make them yellow that when you wrung out the water, it was yellow, and you're just looking at it going, I don't know if I cleaned up the mess or it's just the sponge that I'm cleaning over and over again.
And I don't know if you remember this, but she never, ever, ever, ever. This is where I learned this bad habit. She never, ever, ever bought a sponge that had a scrubby side to it. It was always just a sponge. And the just a sponge would not remove food particles on plates that had dried. It
No,
just didn't do it.
no, no. You had
And
to put those
so
in the bottom of the dishwater to let them soak while you
let them
cleaned everything
soak.
else. Yeah.
Right, right.
Hmm.
And then when you be done, there would like it still could you had not soaked it long enough to make it still work. And so you would have to fight with her about whether or not the dishes were done at that point because you had to try to convince her that the sponge wasn't doing the job on that last thing.
Correct.
That's why I'm like, I'll just let it soak. That's where that came from.
Yeah, another thing. So, okay, since we're on that topic, so another thing that I always went out and made a point of to never purchase was a vacuum that required paper bags. Because the only thing we ever had was vacuums with the removable paper bags to throw in the
Mhm.
trash when they're full. But the problem was you never had enough replacement bags to remain consistent on the dumping of the bags. And so you would just constantly have this bag chocked full of dirt and sand and cat hair. And you were hoping that the vacuum would do its job, but the vacuum is struggling. And so I've always purchased a vacuum with a clear canister so I could see when I need to dump it.
Do you remember when it got so full that there was like, because out there where she lives, it's very dusty anyway. It's
Very
just the
dusty.
climate. It's
Yeah.
very dry. It's very dusty. It's
It's
impossible
a
to
desert.
keep an. It's a desert. It's possible to keep anything clean. Like,
Mm-hmm.
like Dad opened up the Subaru hood the other day. He's like, Jesus Christ! I said, this is from driving up and down a dirt road half a mile. Like,
Yeah.
it's just dusty. So anyway, do you remember when it bag got real, real, real full, and there'd be like that poof of micro dust
Oh, yeah.
that would come out like right as you started the machine before it was
Oh,
doing any of its jobs, and like
every
you'd
time.
hit that, yeah, it'd go poof, and you go like, well, I guess I'll vacuum that up now.
And did you ever like you knew that the bag was full, so you would start the replacement procedure, right? And you would take the full bag out,
Hmm.
and then you would be searching for a new bag, but you couldn't find the new bag because there was none, right? And then you're like, well, she told me to vacuum, so you take the full bag and you slide it back into the vacuum, and you go, well, this is what we got. And then you put the cover back on and you fire that bad boy up and hope for the best.
I took a slightly different approach. I never
Ah,
did, because I would haul them out. I was the person who I would be like, this is probably full, and I'd haul it out to the garbage can, dump it inside, right? And then I go looking for a bag. But I was the person where it's like I was so annoyed by probably how she asked me to
mm-hmm,
vacuum or whatever
mm-hmm.
it is that she was asking me to do. I was annoyed by the tone of her voice. And so I would call her at work and say, I can't find any vacuum bags. Do you know where they are? Just to prove a point.
Yeah, like, hello, I'm trying to do
Like,
the thing that you asked me to do, but you have not provided me the tool set to do the job properly.
yes, yes. And so then she would have to come home to a bagless vacuum that is not operational and
Oh,
no
no.
vacuumed floor.
I
That's
would
the game I played.
I would just roll with it, and whatever got stuck in the vacuum got stuck in the vacuum.
Yeah, I'm surprised you never blew any up.
Yeah, well, I burnt through a lot of belts because once again, it was always a fucking vacuum that was never designed for daily use. It was some, as seen on TV QVC special that got delivered to the door, right? And I burnt through a lot of belts because the belts would get the roller would get so clogged up with all the bullshit on that carpet that and pieces of the carpet, right? When that carpet
Pieces of the carpet.
really started pulling apart, and so you end up with this giant string, and then you gotta lay that cocksucker over on its side, right, and start pulling the threads out from the roller. Yeah, I
And
burnt through a lot
the
of,
whole room smells like baked rubber.
yeah, exactly, burnt rubber everywhere. And then you're like, well, maybe the belt's good, and so you fire it back up, you get the burnt smell all over again, and then you realize that nothing is working. And then you got to ask, well, do we have any replacement belts? And of course we don't. So the next store visit is you're buying belts and bags.
Hmm.
Yeah.
So just to date these vacuums was because we had an upright and a canister because at the
Of
time
course.
we needed both.
Right.
Um, was the canister vacuum branded by Sanyo?
Yes. Sanyo. The same people that make TVs. Um, I was with her when she purchased that vacuum. There was a vacuum store, which I didn't even know was a thing, right? But just a store dedicated to vacuums, ran by a gentleman. He was actually a very nice guy, but he was a little person, and he
It
was a
was
vacuum
it's a
salesman.
night he was, but you know what? He could get down there and get those fixed.
Well, that's what I'm saying is that's how we ended up with the canister because the canister is something that he could really wrap his hands around, right? Those
Literally.
uprights, literally, the uprights were too tall for him. And I'm not trying to be mean. I'm just trying to be real. I'm trying to paint the picture here. And so the canister, a Sanyo vacuum. Who the hell buys that?
I don't. I think I had a Sanyo Walkman.
I don't think
Like,
I've owned anything Sanyo because it was a garbage brand, right? It's kind of like
well,
when you
that
buy a
that
TV
vacuum lived
now.
forever.
Yeah, it's kind of like when you buy a TV now. Like if you go into the store and there's a Sanyo and a Samsung, everybody knows that the Samsung is the good TV brand to go with.
Hmm.
But for some reason, our mother gets sold on, oh, the Sanyo. That looks like a good brand. And so we end up with a canister vacuum that sucks. Not literally, it just metaphorically sucks because it was a shitty vacuum. And you were required to use it. You were required to use that vacuum. If you weren't vacuuming the carpet, you had to use the canister for everything else.
Uh huh. Yeah. But you
Anyways,
had to. So this. Okay. So this is the other thing. I never understood if we were required to use the canister vacuum. Why were we required to sweep before we vacuumed?
that's a question only our mother can answer because that still does not make any sense to me at all.
No, no. Like the broom that gets the most use in my house is the broom that I use to sweep the snow off my car
Yeah,
because I just get the fucking vacuum out.
yeah. I think we have a broom in the house, but I'll be honest. If you're gonna like clean the area, you're gonna get the vacuum out, and it's gonna get everything. You could
All
be
the
able to get in the
hair.
little nooks and crevices and get in
Yeah,
between the appliances and
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. But she made
I
us
don't know.
sweep first. And sometimes I tried to sneak that vacuum in there as step one, and she'd be like, "Did you sweep that first?" Well, no. Yes,
No.
yes, yes.
Well,
I
yeah,
did.
that's the thing. So she also taught us how to lie, right? Because if you answered honestly, you were screwed.
So fucked.
Yeah, she'd call from work, right? Have you
Uh
done the
huh.
dishes? Uh-huh. Have you vacuumed? Uh-huh. Okay, I'm on my way home. Okay. You click, you scrub the dishes as quickly as possible
Huh?
in the amount of driving time that you know it's going to take her. And then as soon as you see the car coming down the dirt road, you run and grab the vacuum real quick so you create lines in the carpet. You don't have to power it on. Just drag it through the rug a few times to get the vacuum lines, and then she walks in. Ah, looks like the vacuum. You vacuum. Looks like the dishes are done, even though the dishes are still dripping wet, right? And yeah, the vacuum never ran. But hey, you had to do what you had to do.
I would lie. So it was dishes and vacuuming. Those were the things,
Those were the
and
things.
I would pick which one I wanted to lie about, and um, I would generally say, "Yeah, I've already done A, and I was just getting ready to start B." So when I she came home and I was actively working on it, it was still kind of not a lie,
Right.
even though I spent all the rest of the day fucking off.
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah.
So what about folding of the towels? This is another hot point for me. Do you remember the correct way to fold towels in Mother's house?
No. Because I
Really?
never could get it right. I could never get it right.
So mom would do like the trifold brochure where you because you
Ah.
remember you laid it all out flat,
Yep.
and
And then you
this is
fold it like a hot
impossible,
dog bun.
and then back over on itself. So now you've
Yeah.
folded it twice now, so it's in like it's there's three layers of well there's but they only overlap by like an inch in the middle. So because you have to get the width correct, and so
Right.
you couldn't do like trifold brochure and get it right. It had to overlap by like an inch when you folded the two hot dog pieces over, and then you had to do a third and then a third of the other way.
Yeah, that must have been your chore because, yeah.
Did you don't think you purposely did it so poorly that she neglected to have you do that?
I was probably too stupid as a kid to understand how to fold that way. Um, and so, it was probably one of those ones where I was never asked to do it because it was just one of those like, how dumb could you be? It's three folds. Well, I'll tell you how dumb you could be. You could be a dumb kid like myself and just not understand what the hell you're doing.
So, and I would be all pissed off about it because we didn't have a place to fold laundry, much like your house and my house. Like, we don't have dedicated laundry areas, right?
Right.
So,
Right.
this had to, and you couldn't do this type of folding holding it in the air. Like, it couldn't be like a magic trick to get it all done. Like, you had to lay it down. And so, you'd be sitting in the middle of the fucking living room floor, folding these fucking towels. And then she'd be like, "Did you vacuum that before you did that?" Yeah.
Yes.
So anyway, and then I get all pissed off about it. Like, why is this so complicated? And then I remember when I got the bath towels put away, I was like, okay, these fit pretty well. I'll give it that. But why do we got to do it with the hand towels? Like, I had to do it with the hand towels too. Same thing.
Yeah, this was definitely your chore because it's not ringing a bell.
It was a whole thing, and so fuck
You know
that.
what it was?
I'm like in half, vroom, poof. Like it looks like I folded a fitted sheet. Is what it looks
Yeah,
like.
now that I think about it, that was probably your chore while I was required to go outside and burn the garbage.
Do you remember the time that you singed my eyebrows and eyelashes?
I remember that, and I remember setting the field on fire multiple times. And then I remember breathing in a lot of smoke from the garbage. It's amazing I don't have breathing problems at this point in my life, because it was a lot of. I mean, we didn't have trash service.
Mm-hmm.
If there was garbage in the kitchen, it went to the burn barrel.
Do you remember when we did get trash service and we had to sort the garbage?
Oh my god, yeah.
Remember, there was like the burnable garbage, and then there was the not burnable garbage. And I don't know about you, but all garbage is burnable to some extent.
Yeah, well, I know because I burnt it all. I was, in fact, I had to burn so much garbage. I was responsible on Christmas Day. Christmas Day, there'd be bags of paper, wrapping paper and breakfast materials and shit like that. Christmas Day, I'd have to go out and stand next to the burn barrel and light that sucker up to get rid of all the evidence.
Yule is that like a redneck Yule log?
I don't know what it is, but Jesus Christ, yeah. Like I should be calling that mesothelioma hotline because I guarantee you, I've got some sort of chest thing that it just hasn't developed yet, right? It's like a ticking time bomb inside.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting, probably for like my 40th birthday for it to just kick in and
Yeah,
go,
one of these days you're gonna cough. Like it'll just be a regular
Yeah.
old cough, and blood's gonna come out, and you're gonna die.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah, or a piece of lung comes up, and I'll be like, that doesn't look right.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna go
Yeah.
to the doctor, and they'll be like, "Have you smoked for like your whole life?" No, but I did burn garbage as a kid. A lot of garbage. Yeah, burning garbage in a desert landscape in the middle of summer when it's 100 degrees. Just, I still don't know how I didn't burn the entire county down.
And you weren't burning. Just to clarify, you weren't burning on the ground. There was a metal burn barrel.
A metal burn barrel, but the problem is that the burn barrel usually, after so many burns, right, that metal gets weak, and then it's outside, it gets rained on, it starts to rust, and so a lot of those burn barrels had holes throughout,
Mm-hmm.
right, and then an ember would pop out of there, and then the next thing I know, the whole fucking field is on fire because it's just dry grass that hasn't had an ounce of water dumped on it in several months, right? And then, of course, all the hoses were always like 10 feet too short, right? And so you'd run and go get a hose, fire that bad boy up, you go running towards the fire. One time, I grabbed this hose and it fucking pops up, because Terry he always loved to repurpose hoses and put his own in. So it's not the factory thing that screws onto the faucet, right? it was always those cheap plastic ones that you had to crank down with a screwdriver. Well,
Yep.
if you pull the fucking hose hard enough on those, they just slip right off of that nipple, right? And so you got a stream of water straight down into the ground from the faucet, and then a hose that is attached to nothing. And I'm in a fucking fire emergency. It just, oh my god. No wonder why I have fucking anxiety, because if I don't have a long enough hose, it's gonna burn. Jesus.
Yeah, the time that you really singed me pretty good, and I don't remember the time of year. I don't remember what was going on, but I think you were burning garbage in the burn barrel, or at least you were supposed to be.
Yeah, it's any day of the week.
Right. And I needed to throw something in there for whatever reason, probably a feed sack or something, just something burnable that I had. And you, in all your dumbassery, laid a flattened cardboard box over the entire top of the fucking burn barrel.
Most of my garbage burning days were science experiments for me. So, it is fact that you cannot put out a fire in a burn barrel by laying a piece of cardboard on top. That the fire would just scorch the cardboard. But what you don't know what's going on inside, and this is the sciencey part, is inside you've really fueled that fire, and it is an inferno in there. And when you open it, right, it's kind of like the steam engine, right, where you open up the firebox and it's just raging in there when you chuck more wood in there. And so you're welcome. But what you didn't ask was you didn't ask the fire marshal, which was myself out there, what the conditions were going to be like. So
this is like fucking 12-year-old you.
Yes. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I had no business being responsible with that much fire and that much garbage, because there was times where I'd get that burn barrel going, but I would have bags of garbage next to me, and when the garbage would burn and settle down in the bottom a little bit, you toss another one on, you keep that fire going. There were some days I was out there half a day burning garbage.
Because it could allow to be built up because we had we sorted the garbage.
We sorted the garbage.
The rotten stuff went somewhere else, so it's okay if that. Yeah.
Yeah, and the most flammable items ended up in my hands, which I got it, no problem. I will burn this. I will happily burn this. Yeah. Yeah. I'm surprised I didn't burn the house down.
I'm surprised that we never had to go to the hospital for anything.
Yeah, even your singed eyebrows made it.
Yeah, so what happened was Dingus went and put the fucking science experiment cardboard on the top of it, and I went to go throw something in, and because it was brewing its inferno inside, there wasn't really anything. There might have been a little tiny puff of smoke, which my brain is it's not burning very much. So when I lifted it, the inferno came to my face, and I was slightly singed for a little bit.
Yeah. Jesus. So going back to your question, do I do anything differently? Yeah, I don't burn my garbage. I use real vacuums with real brand name vacuums. I don't use a sponge to wipe down every surface in the house from toilet to dishes. No, there's a lot of things. So I guess thank you to our mother. I don't know.
Maybe. I have no inhibitions on what ends up stuck to the butter. You remember
the butter tray?
The butter
exposed butter
stick.
Tray.
The exposed butter tray.
This is not the coffee butter.
This is not the coffee butter. Well, it is kind of the coffee butter, but it's the butter that's still in the stick form on the butter tray. How dare you get a crumb stuck to it? Or jam?
Right.
And absolutely never, ever, ever roll your corn on the cob on top of it.
Oh, good God. Well, and not to mention the amount of cat tongues that have probably scraped past that butter. Right?
Yes. So, butter in my house it's kind of a free-for-all. You don't know what the flavor is going to be from crumb to crumb.
Okay,
So yeah.
pause right there. I'll have to edit the video. I am about ready to piss my pants.
Okay, bye.
Okay, I'll be right back. Whew. Okay, and we're back. Oh, man, I had to tinkle. I'm gonna have to start wearing a catheter or Depends or something for these.
Well, I'm glad we were able to let you do that.
Yeah. I was thinking when I was taking a piss. So, at my kid's school, there's this drop off zone, right? Where all the parents line up in their vehicles and it's like a horseshoe shape, right? You get to the bottom of the horseshoe, you get your kids out, and then you move on about your business. Every day, it's the same guy. He gets into the line, right? And this is no bullshit line. There's no time for dilly dallying around, right? So you get into this line, right? You stop, you let your kids out. You don't even put the car in park. You leave it in drive. And then as soon as they step foot onto the sidewalk, you get your ass out of there because there's cars behind you,
So
right?
is this so I don't have to join this line anymore based on our schedule, but the previous lines I've been in only so like you'll be in the line, but only the children are only allowed out like in the last one, two or three parking spots, depending on how many attendants are out there. Is that the same thing?
No, no. So this thing is literally just it's a constantly moving line, and it's not far from the door where the students enter, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so you literally let them out of the car, and they get on the sidewalk, and they go right into the door of the school, right?
Okay.
And so there's no fucking around in this line. This guy, this cocksucker, gets into the line, right? He's always at the front, so he's always holding people up. He puts the car in park. You see the driver door open. He gets out of the car. He shuts the driver's door. He opens the rear passenger door, lets little Timmy out. Little Timmy steps out, shuts the door, and you're like, ugh, okay, get back in, buddy. It's time to move on, right? No, this bastard walks around his car, gets onto the sidewalk with his kid, walks his kid all the way up to the door, and gives little Timmy a hug and a kiss before they walk into the school, and then saunters on back to his vehicle like he doesn't have shit to do the rest of the day. Meanwhile, there is at least a dozen other cars with other parents and kids watching you, waiting for you to move your car so we can get up to the line and let our kids out. This son of a bitch does this every day. And I hope he's a listener, because I'm telling you right now, buddy, you put your car in park one more time, we're going to have words. And I'm not just a keyboard warrior. I'm not talking tough behind the microphone. I will get out and punch you in your beak because you were holding up in the line. This is bullshit. And it's so frustrating. So we were having dinner with friends of ours the other night, and we got in the conversation of this line. And he goes, "Let me guess, guy in the white Jeep?" I go, "Fucking how'd you know? You got stuck behind him too, didn't you?"
It's
He
a Jeep
goes,
thing.
"Yeah."
I feel like it's a Jeep thing.
Is it a Jeep thing? The
I feel
most
like
frustrating experience. The amount of time it takes that bastard to get out of his car, walk the kid up, walk back, in the car, put the seatbelt on, put the car in drive, and still doesn't move forward because he's looking into the door, making sure that little Timmy has made it through the doors. And then slowly, painfully slowly starts moving forward.
how old is this child?
I mean, elementary. I mean, but it doesn't look kindergarten age, but not like sixth grade age. So probably second, third, fourth grade, something in there.
So it's like not the kid's first rodeo.
It's not. Well, we're at the end of the school year too, so
Right,
we've done
right.
this 100 something days now, right? Like,
Mm-hmm.
get your shit right. I tell my boys, we get into the parking lot, you unbuckle. Right, the car's still moving. You unbuckle and you get your bags ready because you'll be lucky if I come to a complete stop to give you enough time to get out of the car. Right?
Yes.
Like, this is a true tuck and roll scenario. You get your ass out so everybody can get through the line in a decent amount of time. We don't have time to fuck off. This guy every day holds up the line. and it's just the most frustrating, just angering moment of my morning, right? And people always wonder, how could you do such a thing? How could you murder that person? Well, now I know how people get murdered. It's because you do something like that every single day. And I'm not advocating for you to lose your life over this, but this is a murderable offense, I feel.
This is just the thing that drives people crazy.
Yeah, like I'm ready to call OJ and say, "How did you do it? How did you get away with it?" Because I'm ready to slice this guy up. God,
So
I
my
just had to get that
child,
off my chest. It's frustrating.
when I had to do this in previous years, my child is autistic, and so
Yes.
things like seatbelts were hard for him for quite some time.
Uh huh.
And I still had to do that car line because they were very explicit in their directions. They did not want you to park your car, get out, and walk your kid over. They wanted
Correct.
you in that line.
It's a business.
And
Get in, get out.
yeah, and so I had to get out. I had to be the one to put in park, get out, help my kid fuck around with the seatbelt, and then get him out of the car. But my seatbelt was off before I even stopped the car. I ran around as fast as I could go. And then as I was shoving him onto the sidewalk
Uh-huh.
and slamming his door shut, I was running around the back of the car to get out of there.
Right.
Like,
But that's excusable because there you're showing a sense of urgency, right?
Yes.
You might even wave at somebody real quick and be like, you can't hear each other, so you're like, I gotta go, You're just mouthing that to somebody, and you jump back in the car and you get the line moving again. That's excusable. This guy, he doesn't even look back at the line. Just fucking out for a Sunday drive. Let's drop you off. I'll get out. You'll get out. We'll walk up to the school together. We'll give some hugs and kisses. Saunters back. Yeah,
I can feel my blood pressure changing right now, just thinking about how irritated
I'm about
I
to
am.
stroke out over the whole thing. And so, yeah, I hope the guy's a listener. Chances are he's not. But if he is listening, I'm talking about you, buddy. Talking about you. Move
White
your
Jeep.
shit. White Jeep, move your shit. You're lucky I haven't freaking honked at you yet.
So I have a child drop-off story from today, actually. So I did not attend work today because I have contracted a communicable disease from my child, which I'm sure is a cold.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I got it because he sneezed in my open eyeball. But whatever.
That's okay. It happens. Yeah.
So James doesn't start school until just a little bit before 11. And so
Jesus.
He
Talk
starts
about
late.
an easy Sunday morning.
Yeah. So, so I leave the house. I don't take him to daycare or nothing today. I was just like, fuck it, I'll just drive you to school. So I drive him down to school, and it's a 20-minute drive into his school from where we live because we have to attend a school outside of our school district. And so I drive him down to school, and then I got a couple little errands to do because I'm out of one of my meds and a couple other little things I got to do. So I start driving into town instead of driving back out here. And I'm coming down the road that his school's on, and I'm watching ahead of me, and I noticed that the car that's coming in the opposite direction, but is still a ways up the road, is a mid-50s Chevy Bel Air coupe, two-door.
Okay, kind of an odd vehicle to be out that time of day.
Right. And it's that beautiful, like, minty green with white. Like one of the really cool classic green, like brighter green colors,
Okay. Yeah.
And I'm like, and so, so I'm like, this is
Mrs. Stoack.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh, that's a cool car. And then it runs into a mailbox.
Oh, shit.
And I'm like
full on, just mosing on over?
He hits it, but there's like two mailbox poles side by side, and the first he hits it with the front passenger bumper, and he hits it, and the mailbox is now at a 45-degree angle with the earth.
Yeah,
it's no longer upright. And I was like, oh shit. And so I'm thinking like maybe the car died and he couldn't get it stopped or something like that. because we're not going very fast. So then I'm pulling up, and so as I'm still, because this is a 25-mile-an-hour road that we're on, and in the amount of time I'm so far away from him, when I see this mailbox go from happy to mediocre, he backs up and then drives into it again.
Whoa, wait a minute. And so this isn't intentional, right? Because we're talking like Bel Air, like there's still a clutch in this vehicle where you would have to consciously put this thing into reverse.
He has reversed it and then went forward again and has now hit this thing again. Also at a slow pace.
Okay.
So now I get my window and I hit the button down and I come up and I go, "Hey man, are you okay?" And it's about a 65-year-old guy who's in the driver's seat, ball cap, retiree type. And I said, "Are you okay?" And he had his window down just like 3 or 4 inches, and he goes, "Yeah, I'm fine." He says, "Yeah, I'm fine." I said, "All right." And so I move forward past him, but I'm watching him in my rearview mirror, and he comes backwards again and then drives into the mailbox again.
So he hits it a third time.
So now we're at 3 times.
What the hell is he doing?
So I'm at the stop sign, or I'm almost at the stop sign, and like just behind me and to the right, there's like a fire lane for an apartment building. I'm like, I'm gonna pull up in there and watch this show for a minute because something's
is too
not
good
right.
to miss. Yeah.
And if it been like a 1988 Toyota Corolla, I might have not stopped. But we're talking about like a 55, 56 Bel Air. Like, and
this thing's in nice condition, right?
It's minty. Yeah. Like, not only is the color minty, it is minty. Like, it's in good shape. Okay. And he's got like big old fucking wide like slicks on the back of it. Like, it looks sick, right?
Right.
So I back up into this fire lane and I watch him come back and go and hit that fucking thing again.
Fourth time.
So now we're at 4 times. So because of where I work, I've got dispatch on my phone. So I just called non-emergency dispatch. I'm like, "Hey," and I identify myself, tell them what the intersection is. I said, "I'm looking at a mid-50s Chevy. He has now run into this mailbox 4 times. And in the course of them getting all the information between me and getting it all typed in for the call.
Right.
He has now ran into this mailbox at least 2 more times.
Holy shit.
So he's just backing up, back and forth. And then so I'm finally, I don't have anything more to tell dispatch. I said, I'm going to sit with him until somebody gets here. And so, but like he's near this mailbox, but that's the only thing there. Like, there's no houses, there's no cars. Like, he's not gonna hit anything else. So I'm like,
well, and I'm thinking if this was intentional too, like that's a heavy enough car. Like, all you got to do is let it roll forward. It'll fully take out the mailbox.
Oh, that car is like 8,000 pounds. Like, that's a heavy ass car. Yeah.
Right.
So he manages to and then, I'm watching it and he's going forward and back and forward and back. And then finally I don't think that man has steering in this car. Like, it just doesn't seem like it'll turn. Because, like, you can kind of see him working the wheel, but it ain't going anywhere. But he keeps continuing to think that every time he goes forward, something new is going to happen. Okay. So he finally gets it. So he misses the fucking mailbox. But then because of the angle I was at, I don't know how close he got. But he came real close to coming to the back end of a car. That was parked.
Back end of your car?
Of a car, a parked car.
Oh, of a car. Okay.
Yeah, because he's down the street facing the opposite direction as me. But I'm still in the fire lane waiting for him. And so then he backs up from where this car is, and I don't see any dents on the car. I don't think he's actually hit it. He backs up and he manages to get around the corner onto this side street. And I thought, oh, we're gonna go. And so I came around the corner. So I caught up and I came around the corner and he's just motoring around. Like, we're talking like 10 miles an hour. Like, he's just creeping down the road. And this particular stretch of road, there's like 2 houses and then it's then it's just like a fenced pasture. There's just fucking nothing right here, right?
Okay.
He's moseying down and then ends up down in the ditch and runs into the fence.
You're shitting me.
No. Now we've hit this fence, this T-post down in the ditch.
And he's in the ditch.
And he's in the ditch, and it dropped down. So now we're in the ditch. You can tell that in the better part of the year, cattails probably grew up in that ditch. Mm-hmm. And we've had a lot of water here coming out of the sky lately,
right?
In some form. So I know it's fucking muddy down there.
Yeah.
And so I redialed dispatch. I said, "Hey, we've moved over. Give him a new street name." I said, "He is now in the ditch. He has hit a fence." I said, "I don't know if he's intoxicated, but this is whatever is going on. He shouldn't be driving."
This is crazy. Yeah. This is not everyday shit.
No. So I just park about 4 or 5 car lengths behind him and am watching. And he's trying to now back up out of this ditch. But I want to remind you, he's got a heavy-ass car with slicks on it.
Right.
And he's in a muddy ditch, and the ditch is lower than the road. So now he's got to come uphill.
Right.
And so I'm watching, and then a van pulls up behind me. And mind you, I'm on the phone with dispatch. I'm like, "Yeah, you guys need to come out. Like, something's not right." And so the lady behind me, she goes, "He hit a mailbox." I said, "I watched him do it. That's why I'm still here, because he's been he hit that mailbox like 7 times. And I just watched him pull into this fence. Like, he just did this." And, so anyway, I talked to that lady for a second, the guy kept, like, now we've got blue smoke coming out of the car. Because he's
just romping on it.
He's just romping on it. And finally I was like, I gotta go save this car. And so I told the lady, I said, "Just hang out here. Just make sure you can see me, because I don't know what's going on," right?
Yeah, right.
And so I go down. Now he's got the door open, and I can smell, like, he's flooding it. All I can smell is fuel and exhaust at this point, right?
Right.
And it's still running, and it sounds good. It's like blah 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 blah. You know, like I have to save your car. So he opens up the door, and I said, "Hey, what's going on, man?" You know, like, trying to be, like, positive
helpful.
And not helpful.
Yeah.
And he goes, "My steering broke." And I said,
"No shit."
And I noticed when he's getting out, like, the steering wheel actually has some wobble in it. Like, something's probably actually physically broke, right?
Right.
And I sensed that in, about the 4th or 5th time he hit the mailbox. And I said, "Okay." And I said, I watched you come down into this ditch and hit the fence, and I was coming to make sure you're okay. And he goes, "I'm okay." And I said, "I don't think you're going to get this out of this ditch. And I don't want you to flood this motor. So why don't we shut it off? And I've called the sheriff, and they're going to come help you tow this out of here."
Sure.
And so he gets out of the car, and I said, "Do you have a cell phone on you that you can call somebody to help you?"
Yeah.
And he starts checking his pockets. I must have forgot it. "Well, do you live alone?" "Yes." And I said, "Do you have anybody who can help you?" And he goes, "Well, maybe the shop that worked on it." And, like, he starts walking away. And the door of the car's off, but the door's open, and it's in the ditch.
And he's just walking down the street.
He's just walking down the street. And so now I'm like, what? So, hey man, what's your plan? Like, what are you gonna do? Because I work in the business of autos left on the side of the road in this town, and I would never leave mine on the side of the road unattended in this town.
Right.
Ever. Like, I would just sit and wait for somebody to show up. And so he's walking down the road, and I find out that he doesn't live very far. He lives around the corner and across the street and around another corner. So he's probably like 3 or 4 blocks away from home. And I said, "Well, do you have somebody at home that can help you?" "No, I live alone." And I said, "Okay." And so nothing's telling me he's intoxicated, but he's sure as fuck confused about the situation. And so sheriff shows up, and they, as soon as the sheriff's like, "Do you have any ID on you?" And he pulls his wallet out. He goes, "Yeah." He goes, "It's expired."
Oh,
and I went, "No."
Oh.
So they came and got a little information from me, just because I witnessed everything that happened.
Yeah, exactly.
And I said, "We thought he was intoxicated." I said, "I'm not convinced after talking to him. I just don't think."
Mechanical failure.
I said, I think he's a little confused about stuff, but I think he's okay. And and then I was like, do you need anything? Because now we're good. And I went back by about 45 minutes later because I was really worried they were going to leave that car on the side of the road.
Yeah,
And it
for
was
sure.
gone. They dug it out of
Okay.
that ditch real quick. So, but anyway, so yeah, that was what happened today. Is this
Ah,
poor old guy that poor? I don't even want to know what the front end of that thing looked like because that's all like steel chrome that he
yeah,
smashed up.
exactly.
Ugh.
Yeah, Jesus. And we don't know what happened with the guy. He just,
We don't. I was gonna pull up his call notes and see what happened with him to see if
oh, it
this
sucks.
helped him home. But still, I mean, it's just like, dang,
It's kind of a
poor
bummer
old guy.
story.
It is a bummer story, and it's like I was thinking about it. Had it been just about any other car, I don't know if I would have given it the same time of day.
Yeah, exactly. Some hoopty that barely running anyways. You're like, okay, leave it in the ditch.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Like
And it's
eventually somebody will come by and pull it out or something, and who knows?
yeah. So, but
That
yeah.
sucks.
So
Probably
we did
some
that
old
today.
man who, yeah, I mean, given the circumstances, probably some old man that has always had nice vehicles like that, or has worked on them, and for some reason or another, probably either lost his driver's license, like was taken away from him,
Hmm.
or just never renewed it, right? So he just let it expire, never got it renewed, right? And
Well,
just
there are still plenty of people that believe the DMV is still closed after COVID. I'm learning.
I'm guilty of that. I've been needing to do a title transfer for many months now,
Oh,
and I've been trying to make appointments online, and then uh, because I'm not that smart, I realized that the DMV is open, so they're not accepting appointments online. Anyways,
yeah. I had a message argument with our father about whether or not you had to make an appointment, and I'm like, dude, I was just fucking in there. You grab the fucking number, and then you wait for it to be called. I was just in there.
back to business.
Back to
Yeah,
business. So just get on down there. Yep.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
but anyway, but yeah, no, it was kind of a
yeah,
bummer, but I was very glad. I was very glad to see that the car was not in the ditch anymore.
yeah, for sure.
That
That sucks.
whether the county helped him call a tow truck or had a friend he could call because he didn't have a phone on him. So at least
Yeah,
somebody was able to help him get that thing home. So
yeah.
I hope I'm
Well,
dead. I hope I dead before I become on the other side of that story.
right. Well, I mean, thanks for bumming us out with that story.
Yeah.
Guess we can end on that Debbie Downer.
You want to? Do you want to? Do you want to listen to a voicemail?
Ah, see, so now you've created a thing, right? Of course, I want to listen to a voicemail. So we'll just wrap up here with another lovely voicemail.
So this I've actually done my work today. And I let's see here, share sound. Yeah, I don't know what that means, but I'm gonna click it.
Okay,
So they are you seeing my screen here?
I see your kitty. Yeah.
Okay. So this is actually 6 voicemails that I have edited down
What?
into one.
Okay.
I actually
How long
enjoy
is this?
6 voicemails edited down to 3 minutes and 49
Okay.
seconds.
Okay.
So it's edited pretty good, and he gets to the point. But I like this guy. So one of the things that I want to point out is that not one of these voicemails, there are 6 of them, not one of these voicemails is about the same thing.
Okay.
He just calls whenever he's upset about something on his street. So even though he starts to sort of describe similar vehicles, they're never the same ones, and they're never at the same address. Like I
Oh.
think, well, let me take that back. I think there's 4 different addresses in these voicemails that he's calling on.
Okay.
So, but he never calls my phone. He calls one of my coworkers' phones, who forwards it to me. And the subject of every single one of these voicemails is what it is.
Mhm.
And we'll get there. So,
Okay.
okay. So Here we go. And if you feel like you need me to stop, we can do that anytime. Because remember, we got almost 4 minutes of this guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Getting my pausing finger. Here we go.
Yes, we have 2 vehicles. It's been over a week now. They're broke down on the side of the road, and they have expired tags. And what it is, over the weekend, the Dachshund was parked the wrong way, cattywampus, more than 3 feet from the curve, and traffic had to go around it. This is ongoing. Is a camper or a motorhome that's broke down and abandoned residential area.
Wait,
and so
pause.
what it is, the waste management.
So the way you stitched these together, they seem like all the same message. Have we gotten through one message?
Yeah, we're in message 2 now.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay, continue.
Okay.
A camper or a motorhome that's broke down and abandoned residential area. And so what it is, the waste management is here today and can't get his truck inside the because the camper is
What?
It's blocking
So-
safety.
That
Pause.
was not.
What? That was not edited, right?
That was not edited.
What in the hell is he talking about?
He doesn't
the
know.
fuck? What is that? The what it is the
No,
the camper and the truck and the guy and the hat and the what?
That is a 24-second unedited clip.
We got to hear that again.
Okay, let me get back here.
Yeah.
Management is here today and can't get his truck inside the because the camper is it's blocking so he can back in, and so now he's got to bring all the cans out to the street.
I don't even know who he's talking about at
we
this
need-
point through the throat clearing and the what it is and the guy and the what?
Right. Yeah. Like, it's like
Oh.
I don't know who you're complaining about anymore.
Who are you
And-
talking to? What are you talking about? Get to
Yes.
the point.
Exactly. So
Jesus.
okay. So that's pretty close. So we're wrapping up message 2, and then we're going to roll into 3 here. So
Okay.
Need help on this one. This is becoming a nuisance.
Oh,
Yes.
Jesus.
Good morning. So what there is abandoned camper. It's white with 2 orange stripes. Has no license plate. And the thing is, at
The thing
442 is a house that's been renovated, and they're trying to sell it, and it just looks horrible. That on our
Wait,
street.
are we talking about the house or the camper?
it's not
What
even
looks
his
horrible?
house. It's not even
What
his
looks
house.
horrible?
It looks horrible. I don't. All of it.
There's no train of thought here. What is horrible? What are you talking
It's-
about?
It's crazy town. It's crazy town.
Big camper there abandoned. Over the weekend, there was a lot of trash that fell out of it or something. And just
I'm
to
still
note, we want to
confused if
say
we're
you're
talking
doing a
about the
good
house.
job. You really do make a difference, and we want to thank you guys. All right,
Who's
God bless.
we?
I don't know.
Yes, the code violation is at Michigan Avenue. And what it is, it's a brown camper with a Dodge cab, has no license plate. It's parked on the road, and it's hindering the traffic, the foot traffic that's crossing the street, and also vehicle traffic that's coming up and down the street. It's a tough one, but people are getting by.
It's a tough one, but people are getting by.
So, do we respond? Is there a reason for your call, sir? If people are getting by, what are we talking about here? What is the point of your phone call?
That particular location, there is no crosswalk there. I went there. There was no obstruction. There was nothing. There was nothing legally wrong with anything that was happening, and people were getting by. So,
Okay. So I'm getting angry at these voicemails because they have nothing in them. I don't know if it's the house or the camper that's ugly and dumping trash out. I don't know what the hell was happening with the trash cans. The who, the is, the what.
right. Okay. So we got 2. So that we've hit. We got 2 more. Here we go.
Okay.
Yes, this is about a code violation. So we have
Of
a
course, another one.
camper and or a motorhome has
Well,
no
which is
license
it?
plates, and it's a brown or a tan from the 80s.
Is it
It's really big.
Jesus?
Well,
Make
it's
up your
parked on the
mind.
sidewalk and or in the driveway.
Sidewalk and or the
Wait,
driveway.
wait. It's a camper or a motorhome. It's tan or it's brown. It's on the street or the sidewalk. What the
And or
fuck
the
is going on?
sidewalk.
What?
From the 80s. It's really big. Well, it's parked on the sidewalk and or in the driveway. The address is 40, and so it came Friday, and it's attracting unwanted traffic. It's 3 o'clock in the morning, and there's people coming going out of it. So when people walk down the sidewalk, literally have to go walk into the street to get around it. It is huge. You can't miss it. Avenue. This is ongoing. People park on the sidewalk, on the berm, in the yards, and turn around in other people's yards. So this is a good call.
It's a good call.
He's not wrong. Well, no, he's absolutely wrong. This is a terrible fucking call. I still don't know what the hell's going on, right? Maybe if you provide some context of what you're talking about, right? Okay, I get it. There's a giant 80s motorhome on the street.
Yes, and so the only things that have been edited out of any of these clips are, I think, at the very first one there was a license plate given, and then actual addresses I've edited out. But other than that, this is completely
and the
untouched.
his and the who's and the wuzzles and the what.
Okay.
This is a good phone call.
And then, okay, we got one more message. We just wrapped up with 5. Here's number 6.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, the address of the violation is, it already had a tag once to be towed, and so what it is at this house, the front yard has truck rear ends and just all kinds of junk in the front yard, and there's people living in campers by the bike path in the back of the house. So the shame here is that right across the street is the sign that says "Welcome to Klamath Falls," and then all this junk and trash is scattered. And this person is ongoing with problems of this kind.
And there she is.
There's people living in motorhomes. That's really all I got out of the whole thing.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. But there, I mean, he made sure to tell me that there were code violations, but I failed.
Those are good calls too.
They were good. He told me they were good calls, and you know what it is that he just doesn't.
And or the sidewalk, and it's at 1980s giant. You can't miss it. It's this huge, beastly man in the driveway. What? Oh, now I'm just angry. Thanks for pissing me off right before I go to bed. That guy sucks.
We just had kind of you brought white Jeep guy into this.
We had asshole drivers and callers. Fuck these people. Now I'm all pissed off. That guy sucks. Can't leave a good voicemail.
That's what I get. 6 of them.
All right. I'll tee something up for you next time.
Okay.
I'll tease it. It has something to do with drones and the government listening in. It's a good one. I'll have to dig for it. I know I've got it saved somewhere.
Okay. I've got a bunch of headlines I've been storing up too, so I think we've got some stuff that we can work with.
Nice. Yeah, so let's wrap it up. I love the voicemails. That guy sucks ass. God, you should really stop using a phone. Anyways, you can listen to this for your listening leisure on any of the platforms now. We're out there.
Except for Pandora, or did they finally load us?
Except for Pandora, 4 to 6 week review time. What are you doing, Pandora?
They better be laughing, is what they better be doing.
Yeah, they better be taking notes on how to do a podcast after listening to us.
And they better not tack on 4 to 6 weeks every time we had a fucking episode.
4 to 6 weeks to review the podcast.
Because I listen to us, and it takes, an hour of my day.
Yeah.
To just plug in and listen and giggle and
It's
Yeah.
stupid. Yeah. It's just something to just fucking kill time with, right? What
Yeah.
do you need 4 to 6 weeks for? Yeah, so we're on all those except for Pandora because for some reason they don't want listeners. And then we're on YouTube. People are watching on YouTube. Yeah, you
Yep.
can see the video element of this nonsense. And yeah, you can always hit us up on the old Gmail. Of course, thank you, Mother, for sending those emails. Appreciate it.
Stephanie and Tracey at gmail.com.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tracey with an E.
Stephanie with all the letters.
Yeah, all the letters. Stephanie. With a PH.
ANIE.
Anyways. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus. I'd be here all day. Cool. All right. Well,
Yeah.
we'll get at you later, I guess.
Sounds
I don't
good.
know.
Yeah.
I don't know how to close this out.
I don't either. Hey, peace
Okay.
out.
All right.
Okay,
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Okay, bye.